are sexy. We are sexy bitches, yeah.
All right, this is goddamn ridiculous. Kill them both!
Hey, what's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Film Vault, where today we're going to count down 20 crazy facts about Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. I'll be talking about the sequel that exploded at the box office, the legal battle that almost changed the movie's title, and the unknown stories that transformed Mini-Me, Felicity Shagwell, and Fat Bastard into some of the franchise's most iconic characters. But before we get to it, be sure to like this video and subscribe, and help us make more videos like this one. Number 20. Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me hit theaters in June of '99 and earned $54.9 million in just its first weekend across more than 3,300 theaters. At that time, it was the third biggest opening weekend of all time, trailing only The Lost World Jurassic Park and Star Wars Episode I The Phantom Menace. It crushed the opening weekend record for a comedy by beating The Waterboy, which had made just shy of $40 million in 1998. But that's not all. It also surpassed the total domestic earnings of the first movie in only 3 days. The original made $53.8 million during its entire run, but the sequel was already a hit out of the gate. Nobody expected it to explode like that, not even New Line Cinema. They thought they'd make $40 million if everything went perfect, but instead the movie tripled its $33 million production budget in just 3 days. Al Shapiro, who was head of distribution at the time, said that it worked because they hit every audience. The kids loved the jokes, and the adults did too. By the end, the movie had made $312 million worldwide, including a $40 million marketing cost. Number 19. It may sound crazy, but The Spy Who Shagged Me actually earned an Oscar. This took place at the 72nd Academy Awards in March of 2000, where the film was nominated in the Best Makeup category. Mike Myers' transformation into Fat Bastard gained special recognition, and the work was done by Michelle Burke and Mike Smithson. Burke was a 4-time Oscar nominee who had won for Quest for Fire, and Smithson later won an Emmy for The Gilmore Girls. They had created 3 foam latex suits with hand-punched crimson hair and detailed moles. It would take 7 hours each time to apply the prosthetics. Mike Myers had to wear the full suit even in scenes where he was in bed with Heather Graham, and he later said in an interview that he had made sacrifices to film those moments. Despite the hard work, the movie did not win the Oscar. It lost to Topsy-Turvy, a film about Gilbert and Sullivan. But still, it was the only Oscar nomination the franchise received in its 3 films.
I eat because I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy because I eat.
Number 18. Before Heather Graham got the role of Felicity Shagwell, her career was a more quiet stretch. 2 years had passed since her breakout role as Roller Girl in Boogie Nights, and she had trouble finding major roles during that time. Things got so slow that she and her agent reportedly weighed an offer to star in a low-budget adult-themed film. Then Mike Myers came calling, and he invited her to audition for Austin Powers. That call would change everything and put her back in the spotlight. As the story goes, she was curious enough afterwards to seek out the project that she'd turned down just to see what it was that she had passed on. In just 2 years, she had gone from being Roller Girl to playing Felicity Shagwell. The same year she appeared in Austin Powers, she was also in Bowfinger with Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy, and later went on to act in From Hell and the Hangover series.
Austin!
Felicity!
Don't worry about me, Austin! You gotta save the world!
Number 17. The companies that own the rights to James Bond were not happy with the movie's title and felt that it was too similar to their '77 Bond film, The Spy Who Loved Me. Because of that, they had sued New Line Cinema. Until the issue was resolved, trailers and posters had to remove the movie's title. Filmmakers came up with names like Austin Powers, Never Say Member Again, License to Shag, and You Only Shag Thrice. They even joked about the name Austin Pussy, which eventually showed up in Goldmember. Eventually, that lawsuit would be settled, and the title stuck around. Marketing had to adjust in some regions because in certain countries, Shag would be censored with asterisks or even replaced with just Austin Powers 2. MGM's legal team wasn't finished though. 3 years later, they sued over Goldmember for sounding like Goldfinger. New Line Cinema struck a deal. To keep the title, they had to agree to run trailers for Die Another Day and Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers before Goldmember, and it was an unconventional choice but also effective. Number 16. Before 1999, the word shag was seen as crude in the UK and other Commonwealth countries. Marketing teams would avoid using it because it was too rude for most people. But then came the film Austin Powers: The Spy Who Shagged Me, and suddenly the word was plastered on posters and became a talking point. The movie's global success had pushed the word into the spotlight, and people began seeing it in a brand new way. According to the dictionary, the film had made shag less shocking, giving the word a more relaxed meaning. Collins even credits the film for changing the word's reputation almost overnight. Something that usually takes years for language to evolve happened in just one summer. Number 15. The original idea for Mini-Me would be completely different. The character was just supposed to be a quick joke, a tiny version of Dr. Evil to show off his cloning machine, and at first, Mini-Me didn't even have any lines. Mike Myers had once said that the character was almost a prop, but everything changed when Vern Troyer auditioned for the role. Director Jay Roach was amazed by Troyer's performance. He loved how Troyer's physical comedy worked so well with Myers, and that little audition turned Mini-Me into a star. Troyer had worked in unusual roles before. He was a stunt double for a baby in Baby's Day Out, and also played a tiny Santa in Jingle All the Way and the alien son in Men in Black. For Mini-Me, he would spend 3 hours in makeup every day, wearing a bald cap, prosthetics, and a scar to match Dr. Evil. Number 14. The song Beautiful Stranger was created specifically for the film. Madonna collaborated with William Orbit, her producer from the Ray of Light album. The song was inspired by her relationship with British writer Andy Bird. It was released as a single on May 19th of 1999, about 3 weeks before the movie's premiere, and climbed to number 2 on the UK charts and reached number 19 in the US. But Maverick Records chose not to sell it as a single in the US. The 2000 Grammy Awards came, and it won a Grammy for Best Song Written for Visual Media. It also claimed the MTV Video Music Award for Best Video from a Film in 1999. The video, directed by Brett Ratner, was just as fun, featuring Madonna alongside Mike Myers as his goofy Austin Powers character. And as the years went on, the track also earned its place on her greatest hits albums. Number 13. Set against the starry backdrop, the opening sequence mimicked the iconic yellow scrolling text from Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, which had hit theaters only 3 weeks earlier. To add to the fun, the rock band They Might Be Giants created a Goldfinger-style song for the scene, and the teaser boldly stated, "If you only see one movie this summer, see Star Wars. If you see two, see Austin Powers." It had a massive $40 million marketing budget, which was more than the first film's entire production cost, and the campaign delivered big promises. Jay Roach admitted the pressures by saying they had a lot to live up to, but the investment paid off as the sequel became the summer's second biggest blockbuster following The Phantom Menace.
Austin banished Dr. Evil to the cold recesses of space and settled down with his new wife Vanessa to live happily ever after.
Number 12. The Time Machine was a custom 1998 Volkswagen New Beetle convertible with the license plate Swinger 2. The redesigned car had a retro look that was similar to the classic 60s model, which made it a great fit for Austin Powers' style. Mike Myers even joked in behind-the-scenes footage about how the car seemed to appear everywhere overnight. It was sold at the Cruise Auto Auction in Fort Wayne, Indiana in August of 2000 for somewhere between $100,000 and $200,000. But the movie didn't only use the car. Austin's original car, the Jaguar, a 1967 Jaguar XK, came back from the first film. Felicity Shagwell drove a '65 Corvette Stingray with the license plate CIA-1. All of these cars match the movie's cool mixture of 1960s style and 1990s vibes.
Swinging 60s, here I come, baby, yeah! Move, move, move!
Number 11. Once again, Burt Bacharach appeared in an Austin Powers film, but this time he had company. Fans of the first film would remember his cameo in The Look of Love, and in the sequel, he performed I'll Never Fall in Love Again from 1968. The song was originally written for the Broadway show Promises, Promises, but this time he sang it as a duet with Elvis Costello. The duo had recently released an album called Painted from Memory in September of '98. Costello's connection to Bacharach was nothing new. He had admired him since the 70s, even covering his songs like I Just Don't Know What to Do With Myself early on in his career. Bacharach left a legacy that included appearances in all 3 Austin Powers films.
I'll never fall in love again.
You're quite good on your feet.
Number 10. You may not be surprised to hear that the film combined elements from multiple Bond films. The laser cannon on the moon comes from Diamonds Are Forever, Dr. Evil's volcano lair is taken from You Only Live Twice, his Blofeld-inspired look comes from the same film, and the outer space scenes were borrowed from Moonraker. It doesn't stop there, though. Mini-Me, Dr. Evil's tiny clone, parodies Knick-Knack from The Man with the Golden Gun. Vanessa, being revealed as a robot, nods to On Her Majesty's Secret Service, and Mini-Me's design references the miniature character from the island of Dr. Moreau. Mike Myers admitted the film fascinated him, and the script is packed full of so many references that the IMDb trivia page reads like a James Bond guide. Number 9. The Mustafa furnace scene became one of the funniest running jokes in the film, and it all began in the first film when Will Ferrell, who was not yet famous, shouted lines out of the furnace that were so funny that the gag kept rolling. All of the lines were improvised and so funny that the editors kept them in instead of the original joke. By the time the second movie rolled around, Ferrell was becoming more recognizable thanks to his work in A Night at the Roxbury and Saturday Night Live. They brought him back to repeat Mustafa's suffering, keeping the laughs going. The sequel added a brand new scene with Mustafa. Austin and Felicity question him, asking the same thing 3 times, and the joke went further when Mustafa still wouldn't die. Somebody yelled, "He won't fall over, he's still alive," and the furnace scene became more than a joke. It helped to start Will Ferrell's comedy career.
Who sent you?
You'll have to kill me.
Who sent you?
Kiss my ass, Powers.
Who sent you?
Dr. Evil.
Number 8. The cameo and supporting cast is packed full of stars from the 1990s. Woody Harrelson and Willie Nelson both made cameos. Tim Robbins played the U.S. president, and Jerry Springer appeared as himself in a wild scene on his show called My Son is Evil and Wants to Take Over the World. Rebecca Romaine Stamos, who later became Mystique in X-Men, was also in it, and there were a whole host of other actors, some of which were in it years before their breakout roles. One cameo that stood out would be Jerry Springer. The scene made fun of his chaotic talk show's over-the-top style, and at first the director worried that Jerry wouldn't want to join in because it poked fun at his career. However, Springer surprised everyone by agreeing to do it. He nailed the comedic violence and made the scene unforgettable.
Tell us about your father.
Well, my dad is the head of a worldwide evil organization with aspirations of world domination.
Number 7. The opening gag took the nudity blocking joke from the first movie to a brand new level. Back in '97, the original scene had Austin and Vanessa cleverly hidden by props with red sticky tape covering the actors during the filming of 25 takes on a Los Angeles soundstage. For the sequel, Jay Roach decided to make it even bigger, revealing in the DVD commentary that they wanted to fold in that idea as a musical. So they turned the gag into a dance number. Every move matched props perfectly, blocking nude angles to the music. Roach said the success of the first gag had pushed them to go bigger, which resulted in a very funny scene. It mocked the franchise's ambition and entertained with creative choreography. Number 6. The official soundtrack for the film would be released in June of '99, only 10 days before the movie premiered. It featured Madonna's Beautiful Stranger and Lenny Kravitz's cover of American Woman by the Guess Who. It also had Mel B's rendition of Cameo's Word Up and tracks by R.E.M. and others. It then went on to achieve platinum status, selling 1.5 million copies in the United States alone. One standout moment was Kravitz's cover of American Woman. He had left out the original iconic guitar solo and admitted that he couldn't match the sound or tone. The track still gained attention, and Paul Hunter's music video featuring Heather Graham as Felicity Shagwell had made it great. It swapped the song's political undertones for sex appeal, and later that year, Kravitz and the Guess Who would perform the song live at Canada's Much Music Video Awards. Number 5. The design of Mini-Me came from two famous movie characters. The first influence would be Knick-Knack from the '74 James Bond film The Man with the Golden Gun. Knick-Knack was a small but dangerous henchman who used knives and traps to attack Bond. The second inspiration came from a strange character in the 1996 movie The Island of Dr. Moreau. This character was the miniature companion of Marlon Brando's Dr. Moreau, and the film itself may have been a disaster, and its chaotic production was later explored in a documentary, but Mike Myers wanted Mini-Me to be an exact tiny clone, which added to the comedy. One scene humorously mimics Knick-Knack's actions from the Bond film, with Mini-Me sitting behind Austin at a sumo match, eating peanuts, just like Knick-Knack sat behind Bond. Mini-Me's design would be entirely inspired by cinematic traditions of small sidekicks, but it was Vern Troyer's physical comedy that made Mini-Me famous. Number 4. The closing credits revive something that fans may not have noticed. Ming T makes their return. The faux 60s mod band is where Austin Powers began. Mike Myers had formed it in the mid-90s at LA comedy clubs. Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles, Jay Roach's wife, was part of the band, and other members included Matthew Sweet, Stuart Johnson, and Christopher Ward. Their song BBC played during the credits of the first movie. But for the sequel, they came back with a twist. The same band lineup performed a brand new song called Daddy Wasn't There, and what's wild is Myers sang the track in character as both Austin and Dr. Evil. Susanna Hoff stayed on the guitar, and most of the '99 audience had no idea they were watching the very band that had created Austin Powers in the first place. Number 3. The casting of Rob Lowe as young Number 2 was intentional. Lowe had been mimicking Robert Wagner for years to amuse his friends. His impression impressed Mike Myers, whom he had met in 1990 on the set of Saturday Night Live. That connection would lead to the casting, and watching Lowe play a younger Wagner in the film was surreal for Wagner himself. The morning after the screening, he called Rob Lowe at 8:30 in the morning, telling him that he saw the screening and telling him that he loved him. Lowe had often imitated Wagner's voice when talking about him, and this approval from Wagner meant a lot to Lowe. It validated his earlier cameo and his role as young Number 2.
Dr. Evil, welcome to 1969.
Thank you, Number 2. You look so healthy and youthful.
Well, thank you.
Number 2. The Spy Who Shagged Me is streaming on Netflix, and you can watch it on there with a subscription. It's also available to rent or buy on Apple TV and other streaming services, and it has shifted over the years, where the film has moved between services and regions, so where you can stream it may vary depending on where you live. Back in 1998, VHS rentals had given the first Austin Powers movie a second chance. People rented it over and over and made it into a hit. And almost 3 decades later, the sequel is living a different kind of comeback on Netflix. It's like history repeating itself, but with streaming. Fans in 2026 are watching it on Friday nights, just like the first audiences did with their rented VHS tapes on the weekend. Number 1. Vern Troyer, the actor behind Mini-Me, passed away in April of 2018 at the age of 49 years old. 2 weeks later, Mike Myers appeared on Jimmy Kimmel Live, and during the interview, he got emotional talking about Troyer. He said that Vern was a fantastic human being and shared how they had worked together for years and how Troyer's talent had brought the character to life. Myers also reflected on how much that Vern had overcome in life. Troyer was not expected to live past his teenage years, and yet he went on to live a life that was so full that Mike Myers said it felt like 150 years. He described how Troyer's kindness and energy changed people. At first, you would notice his small size, but by the end of the day, you would just see Vern Troyer as a person. Myers called him a great comedian, dancer, and someone who brought love to everyone around him, and that night on Kimmel's show became an important moment for fans. It was the first time that Myers stepped away from his characters and spoke straight out of the heart. Now be sure to smash that like button since I know that you love this video, and don't forget to subscribe so that you know every time we upload another video like this one. If you've got any recommendations, let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.